These are the forgotten things of 2020. And let's get started with number 10, and that's the Australian bushfires. That's pretty much how we actually started the year, remember? Suddenly, I mean,
Yeah.
huge Australian bushfires, which right now they're also happening in California, which is just insane. But yeah, I mean, we completely forgot about them because of all the craziness happening right
But
now.
as that was going on, the world was going crazy for what can we do to stop it? Can we raise money to help the firemen? What about the environmental damage? Do you know how many species are disappearing? And suddenly everybody who'd ever liked the color green or wore a green t-shirt was going bonkers with good reason because it didn't feel like anybody was doing anything about it. And then suddenly with lockdown, let it burn. It's all right. No, it'll take care of itself. Maybe the warm weather will make it evaporate. Maybe that's what they thought later on. But there you go. And it's happening in California as well with the same kind of problems that go on. So that's outside number 10. Number 9. It's not so important, but it is kind of. If you like following British politics or the British royal family, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle left the UK to go and live in Canada. They decided that she was getting too much of a hard time. I think there's a lot of racist stuff that came along. They just didn't like an American in the royal family for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't live there anymore for lots of reasons. Then they decided to leave and they called it Megxit. And what they did effectively, which was the last time I think this happened, was King Edward abdicated his throne a long, long time ago because it was actually Mrs. Simpson in the 1920s or something. He decided he was so in love, he didn't want to carry in charge of a country. But this is them saying we don't want to do any charity work. We don't want to be roped in with doing all the stuff for the public and then being scrutinized. We'll just give away the fortune. You can keep it and we'll go somewhere else. But I think they're kind of coming back since then, Ernesto. So maybe we got an electric bill for their house and thought, oh, this is a bit much. Can we get British taxpayers to pay for it again? Watch this space and find out.
So number 8, we have Brexit, which is just the insanest thing that we would have said, well, this is exactly how things are going to go in this year. This is what we're going to really remember. And right now it's just something like dust of not something there in the sky, absolutely irrelevant.
I'll tell you how mad this is. As a British expat living overseas, I had to ask you, has Brexit actually gone ahead or did they put it off again? Because I just didn't know, because I've not read anything since the previous year. Everyone's going crazy about it, and I was just, oh yeah, leave Europe, don't worry, there won't be any Europe left to move out of. And that's kind of what it feels like now.
That's insane.
Number 7, Kobe Bryant, one of the world's most favorite sports stars from basketball, with a terrible helicopter accident that took his life and his beautiful daughter as well, and the whole world mourned. And everybody shared their wonderful Kobe Bryant stories, and things were set up to make sure that this should never happen again, and the tributes and all the rest of it, and guaranteed you forgot that even happened. Yeah, so Kobe Bryant, RIP, but what can you say?
Absolutely. Number 6, we have Kim Jong-un, that apparently he was dead for about 2 weeks. And nobody knew anything about it, and then suddenly he was alive again, and apparently now he's again in a coma. So we have absolutely no clue what's going on with Kim Jong-un. Also, the fact that also Trump went to visit him in North Korea.
Don't you think Trump might have noticed that he was in a coma? Tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me when I was a student, because we'd have some mega parties and I would be comatose for 2 days at a time, and people would come into my room and say, Dave, all right, just leave him. Leave him. Just leave pizza near the door. Push it under. Don't worry if the cheese has come off. He'll have it when he's ready. Maybe he's just been partying like it's 1999. But it's not 2020, which is even better. All right, moving on to the next one, number 5. This is incredible. The Pentagon released 3 videos of UFOs. Now, get this in perspective. The Pentagon, who would know about Area 51 and all about the fact that there is alien life, released proof that there's alien life. And because there's so much madness going on, this is the first time you're hearing about it. That's going to be a pretty messed up world.
It's just absolutely insane that this is just something that we completely forgot about it. So now we're going to go into number 4. And that's almost how we started the year. In January 4th or January 5th, 2020, we were at the brink of a nuclear war with Iran. Do you remember that craziness? And just after that, we were just about to have our event in Dubai. You were there in Dubai, and everybody was like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Now suddenly we forgot about the whole thing.
Hold on, wait, can I just put this in perspective? We weren't at the beginning of a nuclear war with Iran. You were at the beginning. I live in Dubai, so we're in the middle of everything. So the last thing they're going to do is start anything crazy like that with Iran. But Trump was pushing for something to kick off, and there was a whole lot of throwing stuff. In fact, remember what happened? There's the assassination of the general from Iran. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Retaliatory effect, if it was tit for tat, was to take down something really important in America that was the equivalent, and instead what they did, the smart guys in Iran, is they threw a brick over the wall and said, haha, did we hit anything? And that was it. So they got something over there, but they didn't try really hard. And then everyone could turn around and say, should we stop doing this? Yeah, I think we should. And yeah, so we averted nuclear war just in time. But living in Dubai, it had a knock-on effect to all the international gigs that got cancelled. Nobody would come to the Middle East in case it all kicked off. And I had a number of huge events that just went, let's not do it. And the only justice that's left is they didn't happen anywhere else because COVID kicked in and they all got shut down. So that's pretty much what happened.
Insane.
Number 3, and this is one you'll have to back me on, Murder Hornets. Murder Hornets, Ernesto. Explain Murder Hornets.
Well, that was one of the things that they were saying, and it was... Suddenly, they were Murder Hornets here in the United States, and they were all over the place, and it was in the news for the news cycle of about 1 day, and that was it. But, I mean, everybody was like, Murder Hornets? That's just insane.
Hold on. I mean, I'm getting my head around this because obviously living in Dubai, are they a murder hornet because they kill people, or a murder hornet because they hide with a knife in your cupboard and wait till you go to sleep and then...
That's the kind of name that they actually got to these hornets. I have no idea, but I just remember that for about 1 or 2 news cycles, they were just talking about murder hornets. And then we have number 2. Believe it or not, we have also an impeachment of the 45th president of the United States.
Well, actually, he was impeached, but he wasn't prosecuted. So it sticks next to him, but it doesn't do anything. And I remember that whole thing became like the world's biggest trial for about 4 to 5 weeks leading up and after and everything. And it's just such water under the bridge. Nobody even brings it up anymore. It's like, do you remember you went to that party, you got so wrecked that you punched your mum in the face? Oh, yeah. How is she now? Oh, she's going to kill you. Okay, fine. And it's just old news. Doesn't matter. Completely. Now, before we go to number 1, let's look at all the things that we turned down for this list. Bearing in mind, even before we go on to the ones you didn't know about, we decided deliberately to not talk about the things that are current. So we're not talking about the fact that there's no events. We're not talking about the fact that there's no sports. We're not talking about the fact that there's a bomb in Beirut that went off recently. That's a terrible thing. We're not talking about the fact that there's a recession or people wearing masks around the world, because there is our current things that we want to forget about. What things, Ernesto, did we turn down for this top 10 list?
Well, we have 2 very interesting ones. Toilet paper shortage, which is actually the reason why this show is called the Toilet Paper Diaries, and the Poland-Czech invasion. Now, this is a really funny...
What?
Yeah, there was an invasion. Poland invaded the Czech Republic. Don't you remember?
No. What happened?
Well, they were just doing some, I mean, of course, they're neighbors, and they were just doing some military operations. And by mistake, apparently, the Polish army invaded the Czech Republic. And then, of course, I mean, everything was sorted. But yeah, it was another of those really crazy things happening.
Basically, what you're saying is that the Polish army were playing football in the back garden. Somebody kicked it too hard. It went over the wall into the next door's garden. They snuck over to try and get it back. And the neighbors kicked off because they caught them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much that's what happened.
Number one on the list of the craziest thing in 2020 that nobody talks about because most people just can't be bothered to remember it is the monkeys in India that broke into a lab and stole blood full of COVID-19, which could evolve into a whole new strain and therefore will have another load of COVID and coronavirus killing lots more people. And it's not even on anyone's radar.
And it's just August. We still have September, October, November, December. We
still have the hurricane that's coming to you today. And we have the asteroid that's going to hit the Earth or get very close to it in November. And we've got the elections. You know what? I don't think it's worth booking any holidays in 2021 because you may have to change your plans.
This is just absolutely insane. So this was for you the 10 craziest things that you will not remember in 2020.
Thanks for watching the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you watch all the videos over here. There's 2 choices for you. Or, of course, I'm Dave Crane coming from Dubai.
And this is Ernesto Verdugo coming from Houston.
And I think we should send a message. Hold on.
What is this?
Subscribe.